Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking onto this video. And please don't forget to subscribe before you leave. For today's video, it's finally that time again. I am ranking all 12 of the Jeffree Star Cosmetics palettes. So guys, I don't know if you can already tell or not. I think it's pretty obvious, but I am a giant Jeffree Star Cosmetics fanatic, and my channel is pretty much dedicated to his brand and reviewing all of his amazing products. So I've already done a video of ranking all of my Jeffree Star Cosmetics palettes, but back when I did that, I did not actually have all of the palettes that he has to offer, but now I do, and I am so happy with my collection, guys. It has literally taken years, but here we are, and as per usual here on this channel, I keep it nothing but 100% real. Even though I'm a giant Jeffree Star Cosmetics fan, I'm always gonna serve you the absolute truth. You are never gonna get a sugar-coated version of anything. I feel like that's really important to note. I am not trying to kiss anyone's ass right now. I am not on any PR list. I am literally just in love with the brand and literally can't shut up about it. So why not make a billion videos? I feel like this video is coming out at the absolute perfect time because as we know, on the weekend, Jeffree Star is going to be having a giant restock of a bunch of palettes that have been highly requested but are always out of stock. So we are getting Conspiracy restocked, as well as the new mini controversy that will include the green color, as well as the single of the green color that's getting stocked. We're also getting Jawbreaker, and we're also getting Cremated again. So I feel like this is just the perfect time for you guys to figure out which palettes you want to purchase, which ones you want to skip on. And guys, before I forget, please make sure to enter my giveaway to win your very own Cremated palette. As you guys know, here on my channel, I always do a mystery box filled with Jeffree Star Cosmetics for one lucky subscriber, and that giveaway will be coming to an end on June 25th. I will be uploading the mystery box reveal video as well as the winner reveal, so definitely guys, make sure you're subscribed, make sure that notification bell is hit so you don't miss that. But yeah guys, today we're going to be delving into my ranking from bottom all the way to the top of my absolute favorite Jeffree Star Cosmetics palettes. So if you want to hear more about that, then please keep watching. Okay guys, before we jump into actually ranking the palettes, I wanted to do a little price breakdown for you. So guys, they're usually priced around the same, but there are slight differences. So for Cremated as well as Jawbreaker, it is $58 US and $79 Canadian. The 18 pan palettes go for $52 US and $70 Canadian. The mini palettes go for $28 US and $37 Canadian. And then Androgyny as well as Beauty Killer are priced the same. They go for $45 US and $61 Canadian. And for whatever reason, Bloodlust, I'm thinking it's because of this absolutely to die for packaging. This guy goes for $2 more than the other 18 pans. That being said, just keep that in mind in case pricing is really important for you guys. Now, in my original video of ranking the palettes I had, I definitely go more into depth, but as you guys know, if you've already purchased any of Jeffree's products, we are getting a ton of product. Guys, I rarely ever hit pan with any of my stuff. No, I have never hit pan. I've never hit pan with one of the palettes, and pretty much these are the only eyeshadows that I use. So that should tell you something. It's a giant size. Everything is so top of the line with the actual shadows. It goes without saying that he has a formula that is absolutely top of the line, my favorite out of all the ones that I've tried. And guys, I have tried everything under the sun when it comes to makeup. I'm a makeup junkie, so when I say it's a good formula, it is not just because I am a stan of Jeffree. It is legitimately a good formula. It's beautiful. So let's start with my least favorite palette. So the first one up on the chopping block is BAM Beauty Killer. So guys, not only am I not wild about this color story, it's just that the quality of the shadows are not what we get now from Jeffree. I found I really had to build these up to get where I wanted it to be, and I'm just not in love with the color story. There's nothing in here that I'm crazy about that like, okay, like the whole palette is meh, but I gravitate towards this one. No, I feel like he's redone this in Blood Sugar. We have that really bright, vibrant pink. I feel like he redid that and it's so good. And yeah, guys, this has to be my least favorite out of all the palettes Jeffree has to offer. So the next palette, you guys, I've been pretty vocal that I didn't love this palette. Now, it has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of the shadows. The shadows are beautiful in terms of quality. I just do not like this color story. There's nothing special to me about this color story. I feel like it's almost a mismatch of colors that didn't make it onto the 18 pan palette that they just wanted to throw into something. It's absolutely not my favorite. And truth be told, guys, they've taken out this Diet Root Beer shade and they've put it back in here instead, that green shade. I like it even less. I feel like the color story just does not make sense for me. It is not something that I reach for. I think I've reached for it maybe a handful of times. If you were going to go for any of his palettes, this definitely would not be one of the ones that I would suggest for you guys. It's just not a favorite. What can I say? So moving on to the next palette. So I might get slightly red to filth for this, and honestly, I don't care, bring it. It's the truth. It's Blue Blood, guys. I love this. Do not get me wrong, okay? Who cannot like this color story? It's absolutely stunning. It's stunning. But it's blues. You are just not going to reach for blues that often. You're just not going to. Also, if we're keeping it real, I find that a lot of the blues in here I have issues working with. They end up being a slight bit patchy and just not exactly what I want. I always have such a struggle with the blues in here. And after I voiced my opinion on that, a lot of you guys in my comment section felt very similarly. It just was really hard to work with. And if we're gonna keep it real, it's just not my favorite that Jeffree has to offer for us. There's a ton of other blues in his other palettes that I gravitate towards more than the ones in here. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some really pretty shades in here. Really pretty, like Ice Tray, this shade here, I can't even tell you how, it was one of the main reasons I wanted the palette. I still love it. I still love having it in my collection. It's just not one of my favorites. Okay, guys, the next palette I want to talk about is Thirsty. So while it's kind of falling in the mid-range of not all the way at the end, but not an absolute favorite, I do understand why Jeffree discontinued this palette. It just does not match up to the other ones that he has. Don't get me wrong, okay? Don't get me wrong. This color story, yum. Like the perfect tropical, beachy, beautiful palette. Don't get me wrong. But the way these pigments are pressed in here is totally different than his other pigments. It's almost as though they are pressed too hard. You have to really dig your brush in there to get the type of pigment that usually you just literally into any of his other palettes and you have a eye full of pigment. With this one, for whatever reason, with the way it was pressed, we just didn't get that boom that I'm always so used to seeing from Jeffree. So while I really loved this palette and got a ton of use out of it when I first purchased it, it's not one of his best ones. Like, I can totally understand why he would have it discontinued and it just not be a thing anymore. So I might get a little flack for this one. Now, in terms of packaging, this is my absolute favorite thing that he's ever done, and that is the Bloodlust palette. The packaging, the velvet, it looks like something a princess would store her crown in. I absolutely love the packaging. And don't get me wrong, I like the color story, okay? I'm not trying to be a monster. I like the color story, it's pretty. But I feel like he did not quench my thirst for purple, if that makes any sense. I feel like this palette was more of an afterthought of Minibreaker and Jawbreaker. I feel like there was a bunch of colors left over from that he's like, let's make this really springy, purpley moment. And yes, guys, I think it's so pretty. I love that it's a versatile palette. Like the fact that he threw in a kind of greeny, bluey color in here so you can really spice it up and not just get purple looks out of this palette. I do love that. I love that it's versatile, but it just, for whatever reason, I'm like meh about it. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, I'm dead, gagged, in love, suicidal. But I'm also not like, I hate it and it's the worst thing he's ever come out with and I don't want it in my collection. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very much good, but not the best. So if you guys were curious about Bloodlust, I don't even think it went out of stock on his website. I don't think it ever sold out, but it's a great palette. Does it quench my purple thirsts? No. But I still think it's really pretty. Love having it in my collection. And don't even talk to me about this freaking packaging. Like, I feel like royalty when I use this. I really do. I really do. Okay, guys, so this next palette, it's small, but it's a wonder. So this is the Minibreaker palette. This came out with the Jawbreaker collection. And now, while this is so small and simple, I think he was so smart to put these colors together for people who did not want to purchase the giant Jawbreaker palette, or people who love Jawbreaker and purchased it but don't necessarily want to travel with it, or they're traveling makeup artists and it's too big to have in their collection. This is so pretty. I love the way these colors work together. I love all of the quality of the color. It goes without saying that the quality is just there. You are getting beautiful, bright, in your face pigments without all of that fallout falling all over your face. Absolutely chef's kiss, beautiful. Love this palette. I've done so many looks that I absolutely love with this palette. Guys, by the way, I'm going to have a Jeffree Star playlist linked down in the description section. I have tons of tutorials with all of the palettes that I'm talking about today. So if you have grabbed any or want to grab any, but just don't know what kind of looks you want to do, definitely guys, take a look at my playlist. I will also link that up here in case you guys want to see it. I have tons of inspo for you, so definitely check that out. So this is relatively new in my collection. I think it's relatively new in everyone's collection as of right now who has it, but the Cremated palette. So guys, like, come on, like the beauty speaks for itself. I don't need to explain. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the packaging. I love the marble vibe he had going with this collection. It was so beautiful. My one critique. It is not a versatile palette. So today I'm wearing it. This is like my deep dark look with the palette. I also did a more wearable kind of bridal look with the palette. I feel like, yes, you can get a couple of looks out of it, but are they gonna vastly vary from a blacky, silvery moment? No, that's pretty much what you're gonna get with this. It's very much more of a complementary palette in my opinion. It's really important, I think, if you're a cool tone lover, these are the best cool tones I have ever worked with in my life, the most blendable, the easiest to work with. I usually very much steer away from very cool tone shadows only because I feel like I just get it all mucked up on my eye. It looks like a very muddy mess when I use them. Not this, guys. This is a beautiful palette. I am so happy to have it in my collection and I love the quality of it. So much like Bloodlust, these shimmers are honestly to die for. They are rather hard to use with a brush. So I highly recommend if you're using this or the Bloodlust palette, you're gonna wanna go in with the shimmers with your finger. They just do not pick up the same with a brush. So that would be my one suggestion to you. But yeah, guys, if you were considering getting this palette, as we know, it's going to be getting restocked on Saturday, so tomorrow. If you're considering getting it, I highly suggest that you do. I definitely love having it in my collection. It's very new, so that's why it's not so high on the list, but it is an instant love of mine. I really loved using it. I really enjoyed using it. Highly suggested if you've been eyeing it. And let's move on to the next palette. Okay guys, this is relatively new in my collection. And let me just tell you, I slept on this palette. This is the Androgyny palette. Now, in terms of earth tones, guys, oh, there is literally nothing more you could want. Like, I have no idea why when this came out, I did not gravitate towards it. For whatever reason, I felt like the colors were just too dark, or maybe my taste in makeup was a little bit different back when this came out. But now that I've completed my collection and I've purchased this, I am so happy to have it. In my opinion, it's the most beautiful neutral palette Jeffree's come out with so far. Like, you could literally, it's one of those, I always say it, but throw in your crease and go kind of palettes. Like, you could take Safe Word, or you could take this on your finger, this, what is this, frosting, and just put it on your lid, and it is so beautiful. I am so mad at myself for taking so long to buy this, but I love this palette. Highly suggested. If you guys have ever been curious about it and you wanted to look into it, go for it. You will not regret having it. 100%. Wait for a sale either on his website or on Beautylish when they have the spend 100 and they'll give you a $20 gift card. Wait for that and just stock up, guys. You will not regret having these in your collection. And moving on to the next palette, we have BAM, the Conspiracy palette. So the reason why this is ranked so high on my list, guys, so if we take a look at this palette here, you literally have everything in one palette. With this top row, it is the perfect neutral row. Like, you could throw any one of these with a shimmer in your crease, out the door type of thing, really fast. But what I love and what makes this palette different than the others is these 2 rows here. Honestly, you're getting a pop of color. It's very playful. You can do like with these 2 here, you could do a dark gothic look, which I've actually done here on this channel. You have all these fun pops of color. And guys, out of all of the yellows that Jeffree has come out with, this is the most neon, the most impactful that I've found. So yes, Conspiracy is definitely ranked really high up on the list. It is a lovely palette, and I definitely recommend, guys, it's going to be restocking with this new restock that's coming on Saturday. I highly suggest you guys, if you've been eyeing this, if you've always been trying to get it but it goes out of stock, now is the time. Definitely take the time to grab this. You will not regret having it in your collection. And moving on to the next palette. Okay guys, so next, I'm going to get red to filth for this. So many people, when I posted that first video, were like, why don't you have this palette? How can you make a ranking video without this pivotal palette? And I never understood until I finally got it, but now I do. And by the way, I wouldn't even have this palette if it wasn't for one of my lovely subscribers, Tammy. To this day, I am so grateful that you gifted me this palette. I would literally not be able to complete my collection without it. And without any further ado, guys, that is the Alien palette. Now, the reason why I did not gravitate towards this palette at first, for whatever reason, this color story just, I don't know if it's the way it's laid in the pan. I don't know what it is. It's just not my favorite. When the palette first came out, I looked at it and I'm like, what's with this color story? Like, it's so ugly. It is not ugly. Out of all of my palettes, I have to say some of my most favorite neutral looks that I've come up with were with this guy. These golds in here, these mattes, they are so beautiful. I'm so happy that I have this in my collection. I can't stress that enough. I cannot believe I did not have one of his palettes that's ranked so high on this list. Guys, if with the off chance you're able to get this palette, I know that it's discontinued and it's no longer available, but it is so good. It is so good. If you have the chance, guys, grab it. And let's move on to the second last palette I want to talk about. That is Bam Blood Sugar. Now, this palette speaks for itself, guys. First of all, it holds a very special place in my heart because it is the absolute first Jeffree Star Cosmetics item I ever purchased. Not even the first palette, the first item I ever purchased from him. And this is such a pivotal palette to me because it's what introduced me to color and what made me not afraid to just jump in with my brush and play. Just play its makeup, have fun with it. This is on it. I can't even tell you how many outstanding looks I've created with this palette. This contains one of my honest favorite shimmers in my entire collection, and that is this Sweetener shade here. So this is the duochrome of gold and pink, and when I tell you there's nothing like it, there is nothing like it. Guys, I could go on and on about how much I love this palette, how wearable it is, how there's pops of color that you can make these outrageous, crazy fun looks. It literally has everything. I'm obsessed with the packaging. I love how medical it feels. It is the best, guys. There is a reason it is consistently sold out on his website as well as everywhere else. It's that good. Highly suggest, guys, if you haven't had this already, go get it. Go get it. Pause this video right now. Go put it in your cart. It's to die for. It'll be the palette that you reach for forever, I promise. I've been reaching for it consistently for what, 3-4 years now? Obsessed, obsessed. Okay guys, and finally, my #1 favorite out of all of the 12 palettes I own, this one takes the cake as #1. That is the Jawbreaker palette. Now guys, there is very good reason why this is my absolute favorite palette. It literally has everything you could ever need. We even have these colors here at the end with Tasty and Cone. You can even get a really neutral, soft look because this here, it looks like it's a white shimmer. It's actually a very beautiful gold. So you can literally even pop out a neutral look with this rainbow palette. This is Jeffree's version of rainbow palette, and I can't even tell you how much I love it. I literally first saw the picture of the inside of the palette when he first released it in the middle of an airport in Italy, and I can't even tell you, I cried. I cried. That's how much I loved this palette. I still do to this day, guys. If I was to suggest one palette above all the other palettes, if you really wanted to try Jeffree's brand and delve into his specific formula, I would say start with this guy. It is absolutely beautiful. You're getting this rainbow realness that, like, honestly, who doesn't crave that, really? It's so beautiful. It's perfect. The formula is on par. I was in love with the entire Jawbreaker collection. I love that he included Minibreaker, which includes a few of the colors that are in here, but it's so travel friendly. It's so beautiful. And guys, yeah, this one is definitely number one. It's going to be restocked during the sale. So if you've been eyeing it, if you've always wanted it, there's a reason why it is always sold out on his website and all the other retailers. It's because it is just that good. I promise you, you will not regret having this in your collection, guys. Definitely try to grab it if you can during tomorrow's restock. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I helped you guys. If you were eyeing any of his palettes, I hope I helped you figure out which ones you want, which ones you don't want. Remember, guys, I am a giant Jeffree Star Cosmetics fanatic, but that will never make me give you a false or sugar-coated review of any of his products. You're always getting 100% realness with me. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please, guys, make sure you enter my giveaway to win your very own Cremated palette if you haven't already. That giveaway will be ending on June 25th, so you still have some time. Definitely enter if you haven't. And please, guys, if you like this style of video, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. What do you think of this ranking? Like, do you rank them differently than I would? What's your favorite Jeffree palette? What's your most hated Jeffree palette? Definitely, guys, leave me some thoughts down below. I love hearing from you. And as always, guys, if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. It really helps me out when you guys subscribe. And I will catch you on the next video. Bye, guys.